Good evening, welcome to Let's Get Summarized. Tonight, we're looking at a story of profound loss, a tragedy that has shaken not just a nation, but the entire global aviation community. We're talking about the crash of Air India Flight 171, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner that went down just moments after taking off from Ahmedabad, bound for London. What we know so far paints a grim and heartbreaking picture, one that we will piece together for you tonight. We want to be very clear, our focus is on the facts, on the verified details that have been confirmed by authorities on the ground. This isn't about speculation, it's about understanding what happened and honoring the lives that were lost. This incident now stands as the deadliest civil aviation accident in India in nearly 3 decades, a stark reminder of the fragility of life even amidst the marvels of modern engineering. The shock is compounded by another sobering fact. This is the first fatal crash, the first hull loss, involving a Boeing 787 Dreamliner since the aircraft was introduced more than a decade ago. For an aircraft that has been a symbol of modern, long-haul travel, this event raises difficult and urgent questions. In this special report, we will walk you through the timeline of the flight, the devastating impact on the ground, and the international investigation now underway. We'll look at the human toll, the stories of those on board, and those whose lives were tragically cut short on the ground. We're here to provide clarity in a moment of confusion and grief, to bring you the most important information as we currently know it. We're keeping them honest, and we're keeping you informed. Let's begin. The day was June 12, 2025. Air India Flight 171, a state-of-the-art Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, was on the tarmac at Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport in Ahmedabad. Its destination, London's Gatwick Airport, a routine long-haul journey familiar to thousands of travelers. The aircraft pushed back from the gate, taxied to the runway, and began its takeoff roll under what appeared to be normal circumstances. Everything seemed to be proceeding as planned for the 242 souls on board, embarking on their journey across continents. But just 30 seconds after its wheels left the ground, the flight ended in catastrophe. Instead of climbing into the sky, the aircraft, registered VTJJA, faltered. It failed to gain significant altitude and veered tragically off its intended flight path. It descended rapidly, crashing into a hostel building associated with a nearby medical college in the Magani Nagar area. The impact was catastrophic, creating a scene of utter devastation. The routine departure had turned into an unimaginable disaster in less than a minute, leaving a community and a nation reeling from the sudden, violent loss. The journey that was supposed to connect 2 great cities ended just moments after it began. In any disaster of this scale, the numbers are staggering, almost impossible to comprehend. But behind every number is a human life, a family, a story. A total of 269 people lost their lives in this tragedy. That count includes 241 people who were on the aircraft, passengers and crew who had placed their trust in the airline and the machine. Their journeys, their hopes, their futures were extinguished in an instant. The loss is immense, a deep wound for families spread across the globe who are now grappling with an unbearable reality. But the tragedy did not end with the aircraft. The crash claimed an additional 28 lives on the ground, individuals in the hostel building who were simply in the wrong place at the most horrific time. Amidst this almost total loss, there is one flicker of hope, one story of survival that seems almost miraculous. A single person from the flight, a British national named Vishwashkumar Ramesh, was pulled from the wreckage alive. He is currently hospitalized, and his condition is being closely monitored. He is the sole survivor from Flight 171, a lone witness to a catastrophe that claimed everyone else around him. Flight 171 was a microcosm of our interconnected world. On board were 230 passengers from various walks of life, their nationalities reflecting the global ties between India and the United Kingdom. The majority, 169 passengers, were Indian nationals, many likely heading to the UK for work, study, or to visit family. They were joined by 53 British nationals, perhaps returning home or embarking on a new adventure. The passenger manifest also included 7 Portuguese citizens and 1 Canadian, each with their own unique reason for being on that flight. In the cockpit, guiding the aircraft were two experienced pilots. The flight was under the command of Captain Sumit Sabharwal, assisted by First Officer Clive Kundar. They were responsible for the safety of everyone on board. They were supported by a dedicated cabin crew of 10 individuals, trained to ensure the comfort and security of their passengers. Now, their names are etched into the history of this tragic event. Their final moments a critical focus for investigators trying to understand what went so terribly wrong in the seconds after takeoff. The Boeing 787 Dreamliner has been a flagship of modern aviation since it first entered service back in 2011. Its innovative design, composite materials, and fuel efficiency were, really hailed as the future of long-distance air travel. Airlines around the world, including Air India, have built their international fleets around this very aircraft. It has flown millions of passengers millions of miles, and until now, it held an impeccable safety record when it came to fatal accidents. That record was shattered on June 12th. This crash near Ahmedabad marks the first ever fatal hull loss of a Boeing 787 Dreamliner. While the aircraft has faced other issues, including battery problems that, led to a temporary grounding of the entire fleet years ago, it has never been involved in an accident that resulted in passenger fatalities. This fact adds another layer of complexity and urgency to the investigation. Investigators, regulators, and airlines globally will be watching this case with intense scrutiny, really needing to know if this was a tragic one-off event or if it points to a previously unknown vulnerability in one of the world's most advanced airliners. In the critical moments before the crash, we know the pilots were aware they were in grave danger. Air traffic control confirms that a Mayday call was transmitted from the cockpit of Flight 171. It was a desperate, urgent plea for help, the universally recognized signal of an aircraft in imminent peril. However, the communication was tragically brief. It ended abruptly, the transmission cutting out as the plane went down. That final interrupted call is a chilling piece of evidence, a testament to the speed with which this emergency unfolded. What caused that Mayday call? While the full picture is still developing, preliminary reports and eyewitness accounts are pointing to potential technical irregularities during the takeoff phase. Some observers on the ground reported that the aircraft's landing gear appeared to remain extended after it lifted off, which is highly unusual. Furthermore, early analysis suggests the wing flaps, which are crucial for generating lift at low speeds, may have been in an incorrect position for takeoff. These are not conclusions, but they are critical early clues that investigators are now pursuing with extreme urgency. The tragedy of Flight 171 was not confined to the aircraft itself. When the 787 came down, it crashed directly into a hostel building for a local medical college. The impact was devastating, turning a place of study and residence into a scene of fire and destruction. The lives lost on the ground were young people, medical students at the beginning of their careers, along with staff who supported them. Their dreams of healing others were tragically cut short in the most violent way imaginable. The crash resulted in the deaths of 28 people inside the hostel and left a significant trail of destruction. Beyond the fatalities, first responders reported that approximately 60 other people on the ground sustained injuries, ranging from minor to severe. Emergency services were on the scene within minutes, battling the intense fire and searching for survivors in the rubble. The crash created two distinct but interconnected disaster zones: the wreckage of the aircraft and the shattered remains of the building it struck, compounding the complexity and the heartbreak of the rescue and recovery effort. In the aftermath of such a disaster, the most important work begins: the search for answers. This is not about blame, it's about prevention. To that end, a multinational investigation is now officially underway. India's Directorate General of Civil Aviation, or DGCA, is leading the probe. Given the aircraft's manufacturer and the nationalities of the passengers, they are being assisted by top experts from around the world. The U.S. National Transportation Safety Board and the UK's Air Accidents Investigation Branch have both dispatched teams to Ahmedabad. Their most critical task was to locate the aircraft's flight recorders. We can confirm that both the flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder, commonly known as the black boxes, have been successfully recovered from the wreckage. This is a crucial breakthrough. These devices hold the key to understanding the aircraft's final moments, the data from its systems, the conversations and sounds in the cockpit. The recorders are now in a secure facility, and the painstaking process of data extraction and analysis has begun. The world is now waiting for what they will reveal. As the initial shock gives way to a long period of mourning and investigation, the path to understanding what happened to Flight 171 is just beginning. The recovery of the flight data and cockpit voice recorders is a pivotal step, but the analysis will be a meticulous and time-consuming process. Investigators will have to sync the recorded data with air traffic control logs, weather reports, and the physical evidence from the wreckage. Only after this exhaustive work is complete will the detailed findings be released, providing the first concrete answers to the world's questions. The central question that investigators must answer is whether this tragedy was the result of a catastrophic technical malfunction, a critical human error, or, as is often the case in aviation accidents, a complex and tragic combination of both. Did a system on this advanced aircraft fail? Was there an issue with the procedures in the cockpit? Or did an unforeseen event cascade into an unrecoverable situation? Every possibility must be, and will be, thoroughly examined to ensure such a disaster never happens again. We will continue to follow this story closely, bringing you updates from the investigative bodies as they become available. Our thoughts tonight are with the families and loved ones of all 269 victims of this terrible tragedy, both in the air and on the ground. For now, a nation and the world are left to grieve and to wait for answers. Thank you for watching. Disclaimer: information provided is based on news circulating around media,